y'all want to get this started? Like, I want to go. I almost want to do a cold open, but people need to know what they're watching. So I feel like 12 years. It sounds like a long time.
It's a
It
whole
feels
child.
like a long time.
Yeah,
Like I want. Oh yeah. Oh, you thought I was gonna be like it sounds like a
yeah.
long time, but not. No, no, no. Your boy's done aged since this thing started, right? But I think it's important to focus the idea that the vision that started this thing is still a goal, right? It's not like mission accomplished or okay, I guess we good, right? Like
Yeah.
the mission was to provide space, amplify our voices in this particular genre of nerdum and things like that. And I think Omar has made this point many times talking about BNP, about how the word nerd is evolving in such a way that, mainstream for better or for worse, nerd means a lot. What nerd means now means it means a wider breadth of things than like even when we started, right? And but it still is curtailed by the same things in terms of stigma, in terms of stereotypes and things like that. And still, if someone says nerd, then like folks that look like us, talk like us, interact with the world like us, are not always the first people someone thinks of, right? And so I think the mission is still important. I think it's still changed. I think it has changed in good ways, and I think we've been part of that. I think we've been part of that conversation. So I guess really what I'll ask both of y'all to kind of start this thing up, Carrie, start with you. What in the last 12 years since we began this thing, what has surprised you? What has felt very familiar even in 2026, talking about BNP or the nerd landscape? Just what's your general outlook in terms of then versus now?
Okay, we're jumping in it. What surprises me is that we keep finding pockets of people, marginalized groups, who can identify with us and want to find safe places online and offline and just feel comfort and just feel like joy finding other people like them.
Yeah.
That was a thing 12 years ago, and that's certainly a thing in 2026. And just like the surprise, right? Like I was talking to a teenager, small pivot. I was talking to a teenager today in one of my old neighborhoods, and he was just like, "Oh, you like anime?" And he was surprised how old I was, and I was just like, "Yeah, bro, I've been reading manga since before you were born, right?"
Yeah.
So it's kind of like even Gen Z or Gen
Yeah, that's
Alpha,
real. Yeah.
are like, "Oh, you know about this? I was born in it," right? Like, the kids who, you were playing video games and reading manga and being who you were before they were even born. It's funny seeing the newer generation of nerds and kids who are writing fan fiction and making their own video games and, asking, "Hey, were you alive when this came on TV?" Right? Whatever the nerd version of "Were you alive when 9/11 happened?" is just like,
Right. Right.
and then what doesn't surprise me, I think the B portion of your question, when we first started, there was a lot of like really funny, bizarre hate comments and stuff, right? Like, what do they mean by this? And now that the world is much more inflamed and living in, right? Literally. Now that the world's much more inflamed.
Now it's hard to get to the
And
Strait of Hormuz. Yeah,
I,
all that.
look,
Yeah, yeah.
look. And particularly being like in this country, things are a little more sideways than they need to be. It's kind of interesting, like reading comments every now and then that I'll be like, "Nope, you're not getting it. Nope, you're not getting it. Nope, delete, block." And I'm just like, did y'all get less creative?
I mean,
Right?
yes.
Yeah, they got
Yes.
less creative. I'm like, it used to be kind of funny reading these and like looking at stuff. No,
That's
no,
what happens when
not at
Chat
all.
GP's
Yeah.
Look,
is
You
like
outsourced your racism? That's crazy.
that's real. That's real. No, actually, something you said in the middle of that too, Carrie, kind of made me think about like the old head nerd is different
Oh,
than like 12 years ago, right? How we looked at that. Like so many things have happened in terms of like, I don't know. You talked about like surprised at your age, because you're in anime or manga, that kind of a thing. And like, I'm trying to think, how was a 40 or 50-year-old person watching anime viewed 12 years ago versus now,
Ooh.
right? How was someone that was 40 years old that like gaming was their main hobby versus how it's viewed now, right? Like there's a lot of things that have contributed to how like, streaming and like other like it's weird because just be me right here. Capitalism has like
Yeah.
expanded the range of acceptable nerdom, right? So it's like you're less likely to clown somebody that plays video games when they're 40 plus years old and they're streaming because they make like $500,000 a year doing it. And you're like, oh, well, they're a streamer. So, it's funny how that has ushered in a little more acceptance of that. But I do think just the climate in general, like it's a different, you know, people can make fun of video games or whatever. Like that's like a billion dollar industry, right? Like there are things in terms of how big it is and how saturated it is. So like you just saying that about like the age thing kind of made me think about how that is different than like when we started, for real. Omar, you're 12 years back. What you looking at?
well, I comment on that age thing as well. Someone in my comments on TikTok was like, "Oh yeah, you're 40," and recomes, "Oh man, you're the same age as my mom." I was like, "Hey, I will reach through this. I will show you."
First off,
First off,
F you.
lower your
Just
voice.
off
Lower
before
your
we get
voice.
to anything else.
My knees hurt.
It was like,
First off,
it's like, yeah, just like
second, we can actually talk civilly now.
they. It was. I think it was just the shock of it. Because, then I commented on that, and they're like, "Oh, and that was me." But and then now being called Unc now, and it's like, but seeing like how
Who are you being
how
called Unc by, Omar?
out of no, and it just happened too, and there was nothing I could do. It just happened, and then like more and more, it happened more often. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, we're all right. They know. So in what you were saying, like seeing how we've grown with that 12 years later as well. And you mentioned like when we first started, it was like, oh, we're gonna look at it through this lens. And there are a lot of we know about the pushback we got and the way we wrote and everything like that. And it's like, oh, this gangster version of these recaps, and like it's just sauce, but whatever. But the importance of having done that in the beginning, of looking at it through this alternative lens, and some folks that were not of Melon asking, well, why is this needed? And then it's funny, 12 years later, we see like how media literacy and just friggin' misinformation and how like the spread of that and like why that was important. Like it's almost like we were documentarians back then. Like, nah, it happened this way. These are like it's like our Rosetta Stone for nerd things. Like, nah, this was this way, and the things that we were talking about back then, representation, diversity, women-led projects, and all the things we want to see back then. Dope to see like expand more now a little bit more, but like as you mentioned with the flames, like God, there's a lot more flames here than there used to be. There are a lot more along with that. So like seeing the progression, but also certain things regress as well has been interesting over
Not
12
just rights,
years.
attitudes.
Yeah,
Yes. And I mean, like, look, we gotta be honest too. Like, it isn't just 12 years past. I think we are in a more, while there is a greater saturation for nerdom, right? We are in a more hostile environment for
Yeah.
for marginalized aspects in any fashion, where you can be rewarded for being antagonistic
yeah,
Yes.
publicly in a way that was not as easy to maintain or market or make financial gain from, for lack of a better term, terrorizing black and brown folks. So I think in that aspect, when you look at it, it's different, not to go on a big tangent about this, but like I am going to write about it, as we're recording this, like the 007 game just came out, and it's a great game. It's a mashup and all that. Is like it does some things, borrows from this, and it reminds you a lot of the games. But like there's an obvious grift with people get online and talk about like what's, woke bond and all this other stuff. It's like, dude, you got a young, white, unstoppable, endlessly charismatic, sleeps with all the women, all of them love him. He's the smartest dude in the room, da 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 da. There, and you can still find a way to talk about how this isn't like, no, this is like the white American dream. This is like every white dude would love to have this dude's life, and you're playing it. You're playing it in the game. Excuse me. And still, you're finding a way. So I just think there's so much incentive to be hostile to a lot of the things that we love, and not the things we love, but like things we love to talk about ourselves. That the environment is a little different, because I think when we started, the environment was less accepting, but like you could just be like, look, we here, it is what it is, you're gonna be mad about it, we still gonna get this content out, we still gonna get these these opinions out, we still gonna sit on panels, yada yada. And I think now I wouldn't call it more dangerous than it is dangerous to be black in America in the first place, but I would say it is more incentivized to get the vitriol of people, and that's unfortunate, right? It's a function of social media and those other things, but that's, I think, one of the things that's different in a not so great way. But that's, kind of wanted to break the ice and talk about general nerddom and that kind of span. For us specifically, for Black Nerd Problems, and we had some touch points of things that we wanted to talk about that are like unique to our history.
Yeah.
And some of these stories have maybe been shared publicly, some maybe not. And so we'll do our best to kind of catch people up on things. And one of the core memories, and Omar, you brought this up, we were translating, this is early days. This is early days.
We got the culprit with us. Yeah.
We do. And so it is important to note, and I am not saying this with any exaggeration or hyperbole, I'm not trying to embarrass my homie on camera. No, this is good embarrassment, though.
Good trouble. Good embarrassment.
We would not be sitting here talking to you if it was not for Carrie.
Yeah.
Full stop. Full stop. So Omar and I put this thing together. We were architects of what this could possibly be, management structure, all these things, bring these writers together. At the time, Carrie was one of those writers, and very quickly Carrie became one of our brain trusts and our North Star for a lot of stuff. So no Carrie, we're not here 12 years later. Them first articles that Carrie used to turn in, beautiful perspectives, beautifully written, in some HTML code.
Yes.
I still don't know if it's street legal.
Oh.
I think, like, if I could see the future, I would assume this was some Russian bot stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
The
I'm trying
brackets
to
and
put
everything. The brackets
with
like,
the packets. And I remember there was it was a long article too.
Yeah.
It was a long article, but I read it and I was like, no, we really gotta put this out.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, WordPress does not like this thing. Whatever we were on does not like this. So I was like, I got to go in and take things out and put things in. And I'm working on this for literal hours.
No.
And I'm talking to Omar.
And I was a lot of that. I was like, hey, what are you, I'm sitting there going like this.
And Omar's laughing. And I'm like, get in here and help me.
Tag team.
Get in, loser. We're editing an article.
And then I stopped laughing. I stopped laughing.
When you saw, you know what it was? Because Omar thought I was being dramatic. It was like, it can't be that bad. I'm like, you need to see it. I mean, this is the same. This is like this is like binary code they send like between the NASA satellites and stuff, man. Like, I don't know.
We are not coders. We are not.
Yes.
Neither was I.
That's what I learned.
I'm like,
I could
back
not be
on
a coder.
MySpace.
But I forgot about that till Omar brought that up. I was like, oh my God, we were editing that thing all night.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember like, let's better do numbers, man. Let's better do some numbers, man. Let's better do numbers.
Hey. What Will and Omar are failing to say is a lot of us, when we first joined BNP, that was our first touch and go at WordPress. And We didn't have no tutorials back then, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Yo,
So it was
we
like, oh,
were.
how do I make this picture a little bit bigger? How do I add a GIF? So it was kind of, for me,
This was.
hey,
This was. You might as well have been teaching yourself how to play the guitar. Like that's what it was like. That's what it was like. We didn't know. We didn't know anything about that.
sorry guys.
Worth it. It was worth it. That's how you
Sorry
build
and thank
character.
you. Thank you.
But I mean, we had a few of those moments, but that one was a funny one that I until Omar brought that up, I totally forgot about that. I was like, oh yeah, like
Yeah.
that was an all nighter. So that was great. I just
The
laugh
flashbacks.
I
and
gotta
you know
laugh
what- and
off
you know-
camera
you know what-
for
you know
that
what's-
one.
you know what's funny is I don't even know how long did we wait to tell Carrie, like,
A long
because I didn't
time.
want to make Carrie feel bad.
Yeah, it
A
was
long
like
time.
it was like toward because that happened during. It was in like not the middle of the week, but like it was a week. That was a weekday.
You know
We
what?
waited
that
like
was-
till like maybe a week or so, like maybe 2 weeks
it
later.
was one of them things. It was one of them things where we worked on it, we got done with it, didn't say nothing to Carrie.
Yeah.
And then someone brought it up. Like Carrie's like, "Oh, hey, thanks for editing that article." Actually, you know what?
Let me tell
You
you.
know what though? Now that it's out, now can we talk about this?
I was like, you hit this button for this is HTML mode. This is not HTML mode. Hit this button.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like I've been waiting to have this conversation.
My L to carry, my cross to carry. Thank you guys
Oh my god.
for not telling me immediately. It would have been a real morale.
So that was
Killer.
so that was a me and Omar thing specifically with Carrie's article. Here's we had another moment, and we've had a couple of these moments. Obviously, we've been around for 12 years. We've had a couple times we had to do damage control.
Oh.
Do you remember where you were? Like, we're not going to mention the celebrity's name, but I am
Okay,
going to mention
yeah.
the context to it. I'm just going to give the
I was-
context of it real quick. So, there was a trailer, a TV trailer, for a show that was coming out.
Yeah.
It was about cosplayers, and specifically folks that were making their own costumes, right? So you got to imagine, we're talking, this is a decade ago, almost, right? And this was brand new. Like, there wasn't no major TV show. There's always called reality contest shows and stuff like that. But, like, cosplay getting a full featured, like, on TV show was not
Platform.
typical at all. Like, it's kind of first of its kind. And it was a trailer for it, so it hadn't came out yet. And we had someone who was very passionate about cosplay
Yes.
that is, like, lives it. Like, not, this what they do.
Tatted on the stomach.
And they had some issues with this show coming out. Now, the show hadn't come out yet. We just
No.
seen the trailers,
Yes.
right? But they saw a lot of red flags in there.
A trailer reaction.
Trailer
Yeah.
reaction. And that's the thing that's tough because that was our bread and butter for a long time. Like reacting to trailers, things like that, building anticipation or sounding off about a thing. So that's totally in the realm of what we do. But they had some very unfavorable things to say and about the trailer, about this show that's coming out. And our failure, we failed her because we didn't know how big we were yet.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a thing that people, you can understand if I tell you to, but you don't understand when you're in it. You get on the internet, you start making posts, you got your people putting stuff out there, and it's getting some reception here, and some people are catching it here, and you're growing a little bit, and you're growing a little bit. And we're growing, not because we're saying controversial stuff, but we're saying stuff that is like very authentic to us and gets people talking and yada yada. And so we're pretty uncompromising in that way. And that was our first dose of like, oh, we're a little more popular than we thought we were.
And
Yeah.
Which means that we're reaching more people, which means that we're reaching people with stature,
yeah.
which means that actions have consequences.
Consequences.
Yeah.
Dog, I'm gonna jump because
Omar, yeah, please.
man, because Will's like this I'm like, this is me. I edited that. I edited that was on me. And they were passionate. I should have realized, also as a writer, I should have realized, hey, I know you're passionate about this thing. Maybe we tone down some things here.
Editorial.
I thought but they did say in the article, maybe I'm being too harsh. So I thought that justified everything
It was
else.
enough.
I was
You
wrong.
thought it was enough.
And then the celeb, when they hit us up, I thought it's because it was misspelling in their name, and I'm thinking, I didn't get the aggression. Then I realized, then I'm mad about this. They're mad, and I was at work, and I was like, oh, and so.
And this
I'm
is
like,
also
"I'm mad about
important to note. This is also important to note.
Yeah.
We all at work.
Yeah.
Like, again, we're doing this, and we got whole other jobs that ain't got nothing to do with this.
Yes.
So that is, and we have some other stories that coincide with that too, but that's a big part of our story, which I'm sure is a big part of a lot of people's story. A big part of our story is this is a thing we are doing full time as an effort, but we got full-time jobs. So yes, Omar, you at work, I'm at work, we all at work. Yes.
It was not lunch either. It was not. I'm like,
No.
I told my job to the place I used to work at. I used to tell them like, hey, you know what I do. If I don't have work, don't come at me. Don't talk to me while this is on the big screen. I had the Big Mac, the big desktop Mac, so it was front and center. So my work was done. I did what I was supposed to do, and I'm sitting here like, oh shit, this is bad. And I love the celeb.
Rome is crumbling. Rome is
I
falling.
love the celeb too.
Black
Now,
hole down.
And Will is so much better at these things than I am. Especially then. I was like, oh fuck. And I'm like, oh, what do we do? And then Will comes on. I felt like I'd be like, hey Dad, I fucked up, bro. Hey yo, Dad, I crashed the car, Dad. Dad, I crashed the car. I hit the lamp. I hit the living room. I hit the big screen TV. You just got I'm like, this is on me. I did, so like, what do I do? And Will and I don't think I don't think we video chat at the time. I told Will, just like, all right, what happened? This happened this way. Will just like, he made a joke as usual. Will makes a joke, and then I can picture what he did. Will said, response to somebody like, hey, I'm actually the the editor in chief of Black No Problems. I know there was an issue with it, and just my man fell on the sword publicly for this. They say, like, we can give this another shot for, and didn't blame the writer. Like, again, this is honestly, this is my fault. I'm like, this is my fault. I should have been better. This is my fault, and Will is cleaning up my mess right here. And Will's like, all right, well, here's what we can do. We can we'll edit it. We'll give it another shot. If you can get us screeners, we'll get do a different review, get a more in-depth review and everything like that. And it worked. And not that it worked like, oh wow, they took it, but like, he fell on the sword, said, all right, didn't apologize for that. Just like, all right, we did that. Yeah, we own this. All right, if you give us these screeners, we'll do a different, we'll give it a review, give it a fair shot at seeing the whole thing. And we did that, and it was fine. It was fine. We had to go back and be like, hey, all right, so this time. But it was that was a really good lesson, because I never forgot that, because I was like, I can't embarrass my people again. I can't have Will fall on the sword again. So anytime there was maybe even a line, and I was in it editing, I was like, hey, how about we replace that expletive? How about we change that? Yeah. I was like, how about we just, because this is still someone's art too, right? So you can be a different type of art. You can just say, that's an insult. How about we phrase it this way? And everyone's always been receptive to that. And I'm glad that was our only. That one was our only one. And I don't know if you, I mean, it's 12 years past now. There used to be we can cut this out, but whatever. There used to be a Twitter group where it had all the other popular nerds and whatnot.
They was in the chat room showing feet, dog.
Yeah. And we were always quiet, not because we were just quiet. And Nicole Homer once said, like, oh,
I know why we were quiet. Because we didn't like any of them.
They can't sit with us.
I'm not even sure how we got invited to the group in the first place.
And we were just there, and we're like, all right, but we were quiet in there, and we were in there so long.
Talking mad shit about us,
in there so long and so quiet, they forgot we were in there. Like, oh, you see, I won't say names. I was like, oh, but you were having a Black Girl problem. I was like, hey, we didn't even say nothing to you, and we were just in there like, okay. And Nicole Homer, who said we were a bunch of individuals in a group that made a community, and then we're like, shit, now we gotta beat to that community. But also, I will also give credit to Brittany Williams, aka Bricks. I'm sorry, Brittany Williams, older, aka Bricks, who was also our liaison in that room afterwards. It was like, all right, we have to actually engage with people now. And she was the one she was the great ambassador and liaison for for us in
Diplomat.
those rooms after the incident, after the great friggin' the falling. Yeah, they were like, oh, wow, you see what I'm like? I'm like, hey, little do you know, you're gonna have some shit on you in 3 years' time, but I won't say nothing.
Don't
But
say
I was like,
nothing.
Yeah.
People
Yeah,
looking for their
you want to talk?
money.
You want to talk about when that group shut down?
yeah.
I can tell you the exact moment that group shut down.
Everybody was making press statements.
Dude,
Everyone was
listen.
doing conferences for that.
Let's just say it will take a long time for us to do anything to be the biggest scandal in black in black nerdish stuff. But anyways, yeah, that was just a lesson in we had to have like an honest conversation, which was a quick answer, but we just had an honest conversation with ourselves like, okay, are we folks that rant about stuff on the internet, or are we a critique site? Are we an actual, because there's different responsibilities that go with actually wanting to be part of the infrastructure that offers critical analysis, critique, commentary, things like that. Or are we just some folks that just like talk shit on the internet? And given the size that the site had grown to and how big our voice had gotten in the space, I think it was a pretty easy answer for us. That like, yo, we've been swinging the hammer around, and like we could deal with handling the scalpel a little bit better. And so I think that was a valuable moment for us, which as Omar alluded to, turned out fine, right?
Yeah.
Like understood what we were, what we said in the end and all that. And so no, it was good for us. It was good for us. But yes, stressful day. What's one of the other things I want to talk about? And so, I kind of talked about the trailer reactions were big for us. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I was gonna say it. We revolutionized the recap game. Like,
Oh
the
yes,
recap
yes,
game
yes.
is what it is today for folks that still do recaps. I mean, I would even go as far as to say is like folks that do recaps on like TikTok and things like that, and like we did a thing.
It was different.
It
was different, baby.
And Omar, some of the most stressful years of our lives.
Oh yeah. This was. I will never have imposter syndrome, because when we were back there doing recaps, like, okay, and we both had the same idea, and then I was like, oh, you did this too. We both did this. I remember it was Banshee, where I was like, okay, but I'm like, everyone just says what's happening. We're just writing what happens. I'm like, well, where's the fun in that? And so we started like using our own voice and telling it like if you're talking with a friend, and being like, oh, then they said this, like, exaggerating and paraphrasing, and then being able to put like gifs and reactions and things like that. So that became so much fun. But then it was like, all right, we're doing this. It is a lot of work, and we got it down from I think 4, because you have to rewatch the episode, and and you gotta have streaming wasn't that big then, so you do what you gotta do.
Man.
You do what you gotta do. And so that took about usually like 4 hours, and then we condensed that to about 2 hours, and then it was like, all right, you're doing one show. But then also, like, remember, this is like back when CW was out with Arrow, and then Flash.
Arrowverse. Oh my God, we
And
did
so,
recap Arrow, didn't we?
Back to back, and then also it was Game of Thrones. We did Banshee, we did Arrow, we did the Flash. There a bunch of folks were like, just have fun with this when we were doing it, but like it was back to back nights, dog. Where I'm like, friends, hey, we're gonna go out. I'm like, I'm not gonna go. I gotta sit here and I gotta spend 3 hours editing this shit right here. Yeah. But it was looking back on those moments. It was so much fun just to get your voice in this way. And I wouldn't trade those hours back. Though I enjoyed it. It made me tested in the fire.
A life.
Yeah.
Yo, we brought up the memory was so. I mean, for me. I feel like I'm going to be very dramatic about this. The Game of Thrones recaps timeline is one of the most complex stretches of my life, because I got my family. I'm writing books. I'm in the poetry game still. Like BNP is growing and growing and growing, and managing that. And I mean, there used to be, like, try to cut this down a little bit. There used to be a time, like, between the three of us, we were writing so much for the site.
So much.
So much for the site. And I don't mean to say that as some bad thing. Like, we knew, one, we were passionate about the stuff we were writing about, so we were always writing. But, like, two, we were very much aware that we needed to have a lot of content and a lot of production to get ourselves out there, to put a name out there. And then, of course, we're editing in these things in the back end. And especially Carrie and Omar doing so much with the social media and pushing those articles out there. Like
Live tweeting.
the amount, the live, we ain't
Live
even talking
tweeting.
about the live tweeting. I do want to talk about the
We
live
will.
tweeting. We're
We
going to
will.
go back to that.
Okay.
But there's so much happening. There's so much work. So much work. And in the middle of that, it's one of those things where it's like you're cursed by your success.
Yeah. Oh my.
All these things are going on, and then Game of Thrones becomes the biggest of entertainment event
Yep.
in the world, it feels like, weekly. And I don't know what season, because I've been doing it for a couple seasons and people liked them. But like right around like season 4 or something like that, or season 5, like they just exploded.
You're saying like no, people love them, and then they started swearing allegiance. The man was no. Will's being too humble on this. No,
Hitting up
no.
Will, like, Will, where's the recap, bro? Where's the recap?
Yes!
I'm waiting on it to eat my dinner with it, reading it.
Friggin', I'm like, what? It got to a point because they're all right. He's doing it because he's also Will's at work, and so Will would send this.
Doing them at work, man.
I'm
doing them
free.
at work.
I do my work early. I do it good so that for whenever has comes in, all right, I can get it. Boom. Will's like, Omar, can you put this up? And so, but from the email, you can't send curses. So certain curses were blocked out. So
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Old?
So I got to edit it, and then I got to put in the curses. And I mean, I'm the right person for that because all my shit. I'm like,
So-
oh yeah,
so-
I know what he's saying here,
So,
and
so
I'll
to
never
give
forget.
me,
our
hold,
friend-
real quick, Omar, to get
Yeah.
the front end on that. So I'm at work, I'm remembering the episode, and I'm recapping it, right? And I'm on my work computer, and I'm sending it, but I have a filter in my work computer, in my email, because the only way I can really send it is through my email to Omar. So I have to, without getting flagged, I have to put in blanks for the curses in the email that Omar gets, and then trust, because of course Omar knows exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And so he then puts in all the I forgot all about that part of the process. But please continue.
We used to double it too because I would do it. And I'm like, all right, because I became a better editor after this. But like sometimes you miss things, and then maybe Jordan would be like, oh, this thing here, and I gotta go back into this. And then but I remember I was editing it. I'm editing and Will's doing game. They love the Game of Thrones recaps. I'm doing Banshee, and I'm like, man, everyone's like, they are sweating Will. For Banshee though, I'm like, it doesn't get that much, but the cast loves it. The cast is really enjoying it, and so I'm like, man, I'm happy at Will's success.
We
We
got Cinemax and HBO access through
Because of
Omar's
that.
Banshee recaps.
Yes.
But go ahead.
So I'm happy, but I'm like, man, this guy got numbers. And Will's like, Omar, the actors are passing around yours. What are you complaining about? And so I'm doing Will's. This is how I edit. I'm doing his recap, and I'm like, all right, just wait. And we're talking to our friend, Big Michael Bertram. I'm like, yo, I still have to edit this, and I gotta put some things that I gotta move. He's like, Omar, we don't care what you gotta do. Put this out, man.
Get it out.
Put this shit
The
out.
streets are
We don't
waiting.
care. Get it out! Come on, edit boy, get it out!
Shout out to Big Mike.
Oh my God. Yo, listen, that
Will, people
I-
used to be like tweeting you, like on Twitter, like adding you, and I'm like, that's enough on my big bro, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't even know you. They're not even local to.
it got heavy. It got heavy. Like it was, and like it's cyclical, right? Like you put something out there, the response gets bigger and bigger, and then I want to go bigger, right? And so when Omar talked about us cutting town time, yo, them last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, I was averaging like 4,500 words a recap.
I'm like, well, this is long.
And I started watching the episode twice, right?
Yes.
Because then it used to be from memory, like I remember this plot point, blah, 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 blah. And then it became, I would watch it, this is crazy, I would watch it live, and I would I don't think I was actually recording notes, but I'd take a lot of notes in my head, like, okay, I remember this. Some of those jokes come to mind. And also, there was the other thing too, I think at one point, I used to tweet the live tweet, the throw
Yeah.
stuff, and I think I said to Omar, I was like, "Yo, you gotta live tweet it because a lot of my jokes is gonna end up in the recap, and I don't want to double dip."
I'm reusing this. I was
The
like,
comedy
I'm
well has to
reusing
be
this.
preserved.
So like Omar became the main like person, and I like tweet a little bit from my account, like kind of a thing. But yeah, so like then they just got longer and longer, the recaps. And also important to note about that specifically is, and someone made this note, I think it was true, because the show got worse, it became the recaps really went from my enjoyment of the show to like a lot of just like critique of the show. And I'm still getting these jokes off, but like
Yeah.
I was like the wonderment was gone for me. So like you can read like you can read the recaps in succession, and you can see how I felt about the show in real time reading them. Because the show just like it did away with so many conventions that made it great, and just a lot of shortcuts, and like I was just fed up with the show at the end, man. It was a mercy killing.
There was one recap I think it's your most underrated recap. I love this one because it dealt with Game of Thrones. We know how they treat their
Sexual
women
assault.
characters. Yeah, and so I was like, and Will knew, he was like, I can't like, and joke about this. So he's like, okay. So what he did was he recapped in different like through different women writers like Plath and like just going through it and recap in each different one style for the events that happened. I'm like, oh, this man's a genius. I was like, this man. I'm like, and
Put that
this
degree
it wasn't
in
here. But I'm like, and this is why he's him. This is why he's him.
And the streets hated it.
Yeah, I was like, y'all are ingrates. I was mad. I was so mad. I'm like, this is. Bro, like, y'all forgot he's a poet? I was like, y'all forgot this is what he done. Like, come on. Come on. If it gets funny the next time, I was like, ooh. But that's one of my favorite. It was
casuals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Casual.
It was
Get outta
so,
here.
it was brilliant. It was brilliant, man. I was mad then. Before I was like, oh man, he's getting, and I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? Do you not know what he went through for this shit? No.
Carrie, so one more I want to kind of hit on real quick is recap wise. I do think it became very fun to see, especially voices outside of Omar and myself take on the recap game and like see how that progressed. I had a good time. I actually think my favorite show to recap personally was Korra. I think I did some of my best work with Korra.
Yeah.
I think I did some of my best work with Korra. I just loved everything about Legend of Korra, and the jokes sometimes kind of felt like they wrote themselves, and because it pulled so many references to so many things, it was so easy to like weave in metaphors and bring these images into that one. And also, I just loved the character of Korra, so like I could write about her forever. But what's one of your favorite recaps or reviews from one of the other writers from the site? Like, you think about some of the stuff, right? Like the first one that comes to mind for me is when like Brittany or Chase was doing Westworld joints, and like so good, so freaking good. But what about y'all? Can y'all think of some?
I have to be Jaquan saved me because I was like, I can't do the Flash and Arrow, so I'll do Arrow. And I gave it over to Jaquan, and Jaquan, we have different voices, and so folks were like, who's doing this one? Or are you going like, no, Jaquan's doing this. And then Jaquan, like, seeing him like step into the fire, but then earn his shit too. He's earning his stripes. Where he's like, no. I don't give a fuck what Omar did before me. This is me. And which he still does to this day now, even recapping, now he's on video, recapping, not just seeing his progression from his writing as well from that to now he's doing it on video, recapping things. I'm like, yeah, I saw him get it out the mud. With the baton.
From the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. Carrie, you think anybody that did like recaps or reviews that you really enjoyed their voice on something specific?
Not specifically. I just remember like, because I helped edit and put stuff out and publish it on the site. Just like the consistency and the dedication all the recappers had.
Yeah.
of getting it out a certain
Yes.
hour, certain night, and just really like learning and seeing everyone's voices, seeing where their comedic bits hit and stuff was just really fascinating for any of the editors on staff, but
Yeah.
for me especially. I was just like, this is behind the scenes is like this is.
Do y'all ever go back on the site and find stuff that you forgot we recapped?
Yeah. Yeah. So I forget what the show was. But I saw Izetta. Izetta was doing recaps, and she was like, I remember being like, wait,
Insecure?
should this be taking
Insecure?
4 hours? I was like, yeah. I was like, don't worry. You're going to find it cutting down. She's like, I'm so sorry. It's taking so long. I'm like, no, it's 4. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Nah, this
Yeah.
is the process, fam.
And then she like,
the process.
yeah, then she got down to 2 hours and then an hour. Like, yeah, then like this. Yes, I'm like, you are on the right path. Don't you worry. You're doing
Don't
you
you
are
worry.
doing what you're supposed to do. Trust.
Yeah. Yeah, like, there's a few. Like, I forgot that Mikkel, Jaquan, and I did My Hero Academia one season.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like there's a few other ones. I was like, damn, we recapped that?
Did we live tweet that? Did we recap that?
Right.
Yes, yes.
The live tweeting, I mean,
Time.
oh, God.
That was a great
We will
time.
never get that back.
No.
Oh, no. We
will never get
lost
that
that.
back.
We lost that in the fire.
We lost that in the fire.
We did, man. You know, every show had a warehouse fire back in '82, and like,
Yeah.
it's lost. We never get that back, fam. We lost that, fam.
It's just such a magical time. Live
There was-
tweeting, when live tweeting was a thing.
Yes.
I mean, it's also. I mean, look, the 2 ways specifically. There's 3 ways. The 3 ways that BNP was formed in terms of people coming into the BNP space were poets that we already knew that were nerds, Tumblr,
yeah.
That's me.
and live tweeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we found our people. But yeah, there was an evolution of that. No, wait. I think the funniest internal live tweeting situation
Oh,
was
I know what you're gonna say.
Omar. Hold on, Omar. You tell it.
I know what you're gonna
You
say.
tell it.
It was we have good. Out 2 things. So we did I don't know if we did True Detective the first time. It was
No, we did
talked
not.
about it.
We did
We talked
season
about it.
2. Yeah.
And then we're gonna do 2. And I'll tell this story here.
We did season 2.
So we did 2, and we did at the time we didn't know. Oh, this is gonna be great. Colin Farrell's in it. I'm like, okay, it's still gonna be all right. Vince Vaughn's in it. Okay, we're gonna see. And then we had to come up with the hashtag. We're trying to come out with hashtags. And I'll say it here. Whatever. I'll say this. I was talking to Will. I was like, listen, all I could come up with was this. Cause all right, True detectives. I'm like, all right, there's cops. I think he's doing a dirty cop this time. So there's dirty cops. Cops are also called. I'm also thinking about like Dick Tracy, who was I was like, I think it's got to be hashtag. I said, I'm like, Will. The only thing I came up with hashtag Dirty Dick, and then Will's like, God, and then I look at, and here's another moment, because we're on a Google Hangouts, and so Will goes, oh Jesus, and then it was quiet, and I just imagine Will going, and then he goes, how about hashtag True Sleuth, and then why don't you just fucking write everything? God damn it. But I was like, and this is why you're the best at this. This is why you're really good at naming things. And so we use that, and I'm like, all right, I'll be there the first episode. I'm sitting here, and I'm gonna do this. The other show that was going on was Humans, was it?
Humans.
And I'm True Detective, Blue Balls of the Heart, a line right from the show, and that tells you everything you need to know. And I'm like, this is pain. This is the world will know pain. This is almighty push for me. Meanwhile, I look over, I see Will and a friend of the site, CB Rucker, and they're just having a grand old time.
We were having a great time.
And they're like,
on Humans.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I have no idea what's going on either. And I think CB was like, yeah, let me see the sense that I can throw it back. I'm like, what is happening?
Love.
What is going on? And it's so much fun over there. Meanwhile,
That first season of Humans was so good.
Omar's like, I want to be where the people are.
yes.
I
This
wanna
keeps
be-
happening to me too. This keeps happening to me too. Damn it. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, it is lonely over here. I am. Hey there, lonely girl.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Omar was like, man, is Humans that good, man?
Yeah. I was like, can we? Should we not? They're like, nah, you gotta do that. I'm like, do I have? No, actually, no. You told me you can stop. I was like, I'm already here. I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently. Like,
I'm already here.
I'm already. We're gonna ride this ship to the end.
No, live tweeting was huge. I mean, of course, our favorite live tweets, I think, Game of Thrones was the biggest. Walking Dead was huge. Walking Dead was a
Over
huge
those.
It was
show
an era.
to show
It was
them.
an era.
Live tweet. Do you remember what the hashtag was for that? Because again, this is another thing that was different back in the day. There was official hashtags for shows, and then there was the black hashtag.
Yeah, then the black tag.
This is where we tweet at.
I think was it. I mean, I know, which I know you're gonna go into. You can finally say it now. You're about the hashtags. I think it might have been. Dem Dead. And then
Dem Deads.
DEM.
There was
Yeah.
two, weren't there? There was
and then Dem
Deads.
Thrones, Dem Dead, and then which Will was like, "Can we? We're better than this. We're better than this. Why is it like we can do?"
Degree in English.
Because then and us being the like, well, because there was the black one, Dem Dead. They were like, we're gonna do this one instead. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do our own.
We went along with Dem Deads because I think we kind of came in late for Game of Thrones when they wanted to do
Dem Thrones.
Yeah, we didn't want to do.
It was Dat Flash, Dem. Guys, we can
we can do better.
We can do better.
We can do better.
Them tired.
Yeah, for real.
Funny.
But go ahead.
Oh, when we're talking about like all the live tweeting, a friend Josh Bay who followed us, and he was like, I can always tell who's live tweeting I can tell by the personality who's live tweeting. He's like, that's Carrie, that's Omar, that's Will, that's Nicole, that's Jaquan. He's like, I can just by the personality alone, you know, when you follow along, you know who's who tweeting.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, so like that was a big one, of course. Thrones, Walking Dead were probably the biggest. Westworld was big too. We were big on Westworld the first couple seasons, live tweeting those. I want to say it might have just been me, but me and the Orphan Black crew was tough.
Yep.
You were there,
Tough.
Sistra.
I recapped Orphan Black too. I recapped a season of Orphan Black. Flash, of course, like the CW shows. Those were just so ripe to live tweet.
Do you
Which
remember
again-
your last recap?
My last recap for what?
Like
What?
before you stopped doing them?
Oh, I was about to say the last recap I did was Shogun, but that was
Came
my
back.
take my jersey out the rafters for a
Yeah,
second. But,
yeah.
I'm sure. No, well, it wasn't Thrones because I was still recapping after that. Wait, was it Counterpart? Remember
Yes,
Counterpart?
you were doing Counterpart. Yes.
Yo, I was in the. Okay,
Tell him.
Counterpart for me, recapping.
Mm-hmm.
That was me working on my shot at the court, like by myself. You trying stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let me see if they can get this dribble move into the fadeaway. Like, if I missed the shot, so what? I just try it again, right? Like, that's what Counterpart was me. I was having so much fun, and that was one of the few shows too that I actually got screeners for, so I could like take my time, write the recap, and then like drop it as soon as the episode dropped. And like that was kind of like a
breath
big
of fresh
thing.
air there.
And that was, I got connected with like the writers and stuff like that, and like kind of some interactivity after I put those out. Counterpart was dope, and J.K. Simmons the God on that, and like it was so good. So I don't know if that was like my last date, but that's the last one I remember like doing a series for. Because that would have been post Cora, I assume.
The last one I did was because I remember I made like a whole. Remember Jay-Z's the Black Album? Where he's like, oh, he's retiring from recaps.
Yes,
So I was like, oh, like we're retiring from recaps. I did it for Banshee, and I was like, all right, so this is like the last one, and then he did a movie. Greg Yankees, the director, did a movie. I think the Unabomber movie for Discovery, and then he was also doing a different show, Quarry. I think that might have been on Showtime. And then he got me for Manhunter. I was like, yeah, I'll do this. But then I was like, all right, I'm done doing recaps. And then the dude that contacted me said, yeah, Greg Yankees was like, yeah, Omar, recap it. I was like, wait, I never agreed to this, but I did it. I was like, Greg calls. All right, yeah, I'm fucking with it. I'm with it, yo.
I wanted to talk about obviously we're a website, we post things, you know, we did a lot of other things, but like posting articles was our thing, and the writing aspect. And Carrie, I'll start with you. I'm curious if there are some articles that have stayed with you, and if there's like a story, like a behind the scenes story, it could be one of your own or something that someone else wrote. Obviously, you edited a ton of stuff that was on the site. So is there, I mean, narrowing down one in 12 years is not an easy task, but like, is there anything that comes to mind of an article that someone wrote that kind of stays with you, something you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I loved when we used to do group post. You say, hey, here's a Google document, put in some words. My perhaps favorite, and I used to suggest a lot of them, just sticking out what really stuck, on the wall. I was like, let's write about our favorite Black anime characters, because we all love anime, and I remember, putting it together, and Will's like, let's massage that title a little bit.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing Will. And I was like, okay. So the title that we ended up with on the site, and you can go look it up, the most underrated anime characters with more melanin than most.
Yes.
That's the
Great
title.
title.
That's
It's a
the
great
title. Great
That's a
title.
Great job. Great job out of you. Great job out of you.
So, super fun group post. It gets published online, gets put on social media. On Twitter, it went like viral back in
Yeah.
the day, which was
Yeah.
really big on Black Twitter,
Yeah.
really big just like on Twitter, period, Twitter, not X. And I just remember the response to it. Like, people were going like cuckoo bananas over it. And then people were like hating, and it was like, yeah, but it's still a cool post.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh,
Cool
why
seeing all
does-
these characters.
yeah, I was like,
yeah.
oh, why do you, why do you always have to, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, no, this is really cool. And not only did it go like viral on Twitter, it went viral on Facebook,
Remember
right?
that.
Everywhere. And it was
Them
just
days,
so,
them days,
it was
yeah.
just so fun to see the responses and to see how loved it was. People were like, well, actually,
Who was the cover photo on that? It was
Not Mugen, was it?
no, what's her name? It's because Carrie, you
Oh!
put me onto the anime.
Yeah.
Gold hair.
Yeah.
So Atsuko Jackson from
Yes.
Machiko Dahachi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that cover photo sold it itself. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That was dope. That was dope. That was no, that's a good one. Omar, what about you?
I gotta. I might owe Chris a royalty check because I love fights and everything. I didn't realize it until he wrote this about this is back when not before I got that title, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Chris Eichen. He wrote this article. I was like, all right. And I remember I'm editing it and I'm about to tweet it
I
out.
know the article.
And the title was "It's about time we acknowledge that Sam Wilson can't fight." I was screaming, and I remember he's going through. He points out like, okay, round one, Sam Wilson versus Crossbones, versus Ant-Man, versus Winter Soldier, versus Spider-Man, and then versus the Flags match. Like, I'm like, oh, he's right. Oh, he's right. And I remember this was before. I think this was one episode. The finale was left, and I remember we tweeted it out. Maybe it was around maybe a Monday or a Wednesday, and then you talk about like, people, why do you gotta do that? This the black folks were upset. Like, we have this like,
Yes, they
you're
were.
being, like, you're just trailing. This is clickbait, and I'm like, no, like he's not wrong. And this is one like, no, we're right. You're crazy, and and I remember then we had it like automated. Like, okay, this comes out at 8. Got it at 12, and then like maybe 3, and then later on in the day. And I remember one person hitting us up, and they're like, "Oh, you're just you're trolling here and now, da da da." And then Will made a thing where it's like, we don't have to respond. You're like, but if you so choose, no, not the writer, you don't have to. But if you so choose to be in P, go ahead. And so I respond like, I'm like, I remember like, hey, this isn't like there is no trolling. There's a schedule to come out at these times. Also, it's a good article. He doesn't say like, he's good at aerial combat. There's a difference between aerial combat, which you guys are pointing out, using guns and flying versus hands. This man does not have hands. That's all he's saying. And then the guy was like, oh, okay. And I love this article because we stood on it. And then the finale aired that Friday, and like clockwork, people came back to the post and was like, perhaps we spoke a little too harshly. And the moment that happened was when Sam Wilson tossed that Captain America shield, and then freaking, what was it, Bartok or whatever, kicked that freaking Wilson, that IKEA furniture chair, that lawn chair across, and toppled over the shield. That's when everybody was like, all right, hey, he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. He was not lying. And that's a good one where it's like, nah, this isn't clickbait. We're not rage baiting. Like, no, this is an honest critique, an honest like fun thing, and talking shit. And like, also it's based in truth. And then folks coming back and being like, all right, let me retweet that now. Yeah, people are actually apologizing. So like, nah, y'all, you're right. You're right.
Amazing.
Can y'all remember some of our favorite titles of articles that
Yes.
came out?
Oh, damn.
What's up? I mean, of course, what has to be the best debut article on BNP's history, which is I Found My People.
Yes.
Just don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
From one Brittany N. Williams at the time, when Williams ordered out. Like, that arrival. I had people that knew Black Nerd Problems.
Mm-hmm.
People that were personal friends of mine that knew of Black Nerd Problems from the very beginning and just, didn't really have an interest, didn't everything. We've been going for about a couple years at that point. And that article goes viral and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were still doing this. I'm like, yo.
Okay.
Yo, working 80-hour weeks to try to keep this thing afloat, man. Brittany comes and drops one article.
Her first one.
Yo, but like that title was also awesome. And I want to say someone, like, Brittany came up with the title.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say someone was like, okay, like, do we want to put this in the title? Like, and I was like, fuck it, man.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Like, it's what the article is. Like,
Yes.
the article, it fundamentally changes the article if we change the title.
Yes.
And we didn't usually do that. We didn't usually be that big and verbose and cursing in our titles as much, that kind of a thing. But that did, and so that's not only one of the better articles on the site, but like that title was amazing.
Brittany came in just like a 6-shooter. I don't care.
Yes.
She was, yo. And we
That's who I am.
Because she was like, oh, we won't use certain sites on the word, certain words on the site we wouldn't use either. All right, we're not gonna drop N-word or we'll use asterisk. Brittany came in dropping B's everywhere. We're just like, I mean,
we had to make a decision because let's be real. Let's be real. When we made that decision,
yep,
that we weren't, that we weren't gonna say bitch on the site. That was very much an Omar and I being like, yo, we two dudes here, like, we ain't gonna do that. Like, we gonna put some governance on that, right? That was a lot of self-policing on our part. Not that, like, we would drop that in articles, but we were just like, look, we know how this looks.
yes.
We two dudes running the site. We ain't gonna do that. Brittany came in and was like, yeah, I don't care about any of that.
They ain't talking to me.
Brittany.
They ain't talking to me.
She was like, no, I get it, but I just don't care.
Doesn't apply to me. Doesn't apply to me.
So yeah, that was amazing. Carrie, did you find a couple titles that you were looking
yeah.
at?
So this also includes Brittany, Izetta, and Jaquan. An open letter to Supergirl Superman. Boy, you got a donk.
Yeah.
From 2016.
That came from one picture, and they made a whole group.
They made a whole thesis.
So good.
Just
so
incredible. Like,
Good. Yeah, Omar, do you remember any titles?
I can't remember the title, but I remember because, like, back then, you had to live or die on the title and the cover picture. And we're using Facebook. This is before Facebook was bottlenecking your views and everything. We got all 199,000 followers. All right, so get the shit off. And it was a good piece. And it was about this. It was a little black girl that got the powers of these Olympic gods and everything. And so they had a title. I was like, no, we gotta. And I remember I hit up. I think we might have all been in this before we got Slack. We're all in the Google. Just 8 different people in one Google Hangouts. And so I was like, yo, this title here, it needs something. And we were just brainstorming on that. I wish I remembered it, but it was almost like Attack on Titan, where she's like, it was this little black girl, she had like little afro puffs, and she's on this like mountain and looking out, and like there's like thunderstorms and everything. It's her getting like the power, and we were like, we did something like, it was something like Black Girl Live Immortal or something like, it was a hitter title. I was like, yeah, that's it. Put it on Facebook, exploded, and I was like, that's why we do what we do. That's why we got. You gotta trust. It was all. That was one of my favorite moments, being like, hey, what y'all got? What y'all got right here? Just the brain trust of putting it together, and then seeing it work out.
And
Yes.
no, Omar, you make a good point because I think it became a badge of honor to find a cohesive title.
Yes.
And look, I come from the poetry world, man, and like a lot of my, I definitely had a lot of moments where I would write a poem and like my title is basically the first line
Yeah.
of my poem, and so that was a lot of that philosophy applied to that of like, your title can't be boring, can't be boilerplate, how can we spice this up? And also talking about the kind of thing that we were doing, right? Like what the actual article is instructive for what the actual article is going to be. I'm trying to remember. There's one I kind of stepped out on faith of about what was it? The Death Note movie.
Oh, Lakeith Stanfield.
Yes.
Hold
Ding
on.
ding 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 ding.
And so I titled that one because I was like, I was going to write a review of it, and then I watched it, and I was like, I'm not reviewing this. This is one of the worst abominations I've ever seen.
I
I'm
see
not
it.
reviewing this. And so I titled that a series of questions about Netflix Death Note, all including forms of what the fuck. And
Yep.
pretty much the whole thing is me asking questions of like, why did they do this? What was this supposed to
Why?
be? What was that? That was bad. But that was one of those things. I was like, no, I'm gonna come up with a title that's more interesting than this fucking movie was, right?
Will has bullet
So I
points.
love those moments when we kind of hit lightning in a
bullet
bottle
points
for.
of questions. This is amazing.
I have questions.
He has bullet points of questions.
One of the things I want to talk about was like some of the early things that we did that set the foundation for maybe bigger stuff or just more cohesive stuff down the line. I feel like you talking about your favorite artists. Like, man, that first album, they were so experimental, and that's kind of how that's kind of how we work too, right? And so, we could talk about the Wakandan barbershop and the Wakandan beauty salon, right? Which was like, there's no other way to put it. It was just fanfic.
Yes.
It was just fanfic. Like full stop. There's no context around that. It was just fanfic. And it started with Omar and I doing this fanfic with Marvel characters about like, what does the conversation look like at a barbershop in Wakanda?
Yes.
Right? Like that was the concept. And we had a lot of fun with it. And then we had the Wakanda Beauty Shop. And I think one of the things that happened in the middle, because we're trying to reflect like stuff that's going on in the comics too.
Yes.
So was that when Jane Foster became Thor?
Yes.
And there was the cover where she's kissing Sam Wilson?
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
And who was he dating at the time? Who was he? I think who was he connected with at the time? Misty Knight.
Misty Knight. Misty Knight. But no, then there was Beyonce's Lemonade came out.
Oh yeah.
An episode just about.
Yeah,
Lemonade,
and so
yeah.
like we talked about that in the barbershop. Like, hey man, you better watch yourself, man. Like it's a different environment out there, my dude. Like, so that was fun, and of course we the straight fanfic. Brittany did It's a Flop series, which was like, I wish we had more time to do more of those because it was really brilliant. We've talked about it a lot. It bears mind that Brittany's just like a brilliant individual, a brilliant creative individual. And like, look, BNP is a footnote in her resume now. As like a best-selling YA author. So let's be very clear about that. But, the It's a Flop series was about these movies that didn't do well commercially but had like a cult classic. And like, so you might come into that thinking like, oh, she's gonna be shitting on these movies that didn't do well, but like actually she was navigating finding like the endearing parts and things that like make them cult classics and why they should have deserved better, or they were just this one thing away from being a hit. And like, it was really captivating to watch her do those. So that was cool. What else, especially in the early days of BNP or things that were kind of off the beaten path for us, can y'all think about reflecting back kind of where we came from?
I can think about Leslie and her piece about being black and going to Ren fairs, right?
Yes.
And then her like introducing like Afrofuturism and literature, black literature on the site. And Monica and Lauren really bringing cosplay and cosplay interviews.
100%.
to like the site and like to my attention and to like the social media. Just so many different interests and niches and things. People are like, I also go to Ren Fair and I'm black, or I also, am a black cosplayer.
Yeah.
Just finding all of our people everywhere on the worldwide internet, the World Wide Web, and just, finding a type of kinship, right? I'll never forget that to this day, even now.
Yeah. I mean, oh God, Omar, go ahead. I'm thinking now about like all the series that we used to cultivate, but go ahead.
It jogged the memory because Leslie wrote those, but I also remember her writing the piece where I was like, no, black people existed in Europe, and then showing all the like from like those Renaissance eras and like those portraits of black folks in like Europe and everything, and not as like slaves and everything, but like in like high society fashion and such like that. And that just like jumped right to the front of my memory as you said that.
Yeah, we had a lot of series that we did that were fun to do, and again, most of them kind of started with like Omar and I experimenting with something, and then other members of the site would do their own thing with them, which was fun. So of course we had the top 5 Dead or Alive series. Omar, I want favorite one of yours and favorite one that was someone else.
I think, man, the one I spent the most time on had to be the Rock Lee. I was like, I spent 2 weeks. That thing was like, that might have been, it was like 4,000 words. It's between your, I think it's Tai Lung. It's because it's between either Tai Lung or Red Hood. Those are both yours, but I think it might be Tai Lung for yours. Because it came out of nowhere. I was like, Tai Lung. Like, I was what you wouldn't expect.
I just got done watching Kung Fu Panda that weekend, and I'm like, Tai Lung, he did not. Damn, he did not get the proper due. Just one of the best villains ever, man. Like, just amazing.
The hardest part of those things for me was because like I know I'm gonna write. I can write these things. But for the top 5, each line has a one. Every line is accompanied by like a hip hop line or a lyric.
It has a lyric attached to it. Yep.
Finding the line that encompasses what you're going to talk about was always the hardest part for me. I'm like, I can't even start this, or I can do the intro, but I can't do one until I find the line that I know, and then making sure you didn't use it already too.
Yeah, I mean, I think about Lauren Bullock doing Catwoman. No. Sorry, doing Batgirl.
Batgirl, wasn't it?
Yeah, doing Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was one of my favorites. Yeah, Leslie did Lilo.
Her favorite Disney princess.
So good.
Yes.
So good. One of the ones I had the most fun doing was Suyin Beifong.
Coldest
what's wild is that, and I didn't have many of these moments. I wrote that Suyin Beifong joint in like 30 minutes. I don't know why I was so inspired that day.
Amazing.
But like, I just went into I was like, it was like Jay-Z lyrics, man.
Yes.
Like, I went to the lab, they're like, you need a pen and paper. Like, nah, I'm good. Let me just get it out. And that was fun because Suyin was just an awesome character.
Yeah.
The top 5 Dead or Alive was our opportunity to gush about characters that we loved. And just have a lot of fun with it. And Omar originated it, and you had 5 things. You associated a hip hop lyric with it, and for each category of like reasons that this character was awesome. And it was a challenge, like finding the lyrics to go with it.
Yeah.
And also a challenge, like sometimes, like I don't know, we probably had 3 in the Naruto universe. We're like, okay, we probably can't do any more.
Oh yeah,
Naruto
I just
but it's funny now. I'm kind of looking at some of these. So, I had one about Hinata. I did one about Pampuvi from Archer. Omar did one about Zahir.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, Lawrence was about Cass. So we had a lot of fun with those because, again, you get a ton of situations where it's like, okay, well, let me talk stuff about this, talk crap about this, and it's like, nah, like we love these characters, and like just give me a blank canvas to paint why we love these characters, and that was very fun to do. Thinking about different series that we did, that was one of the big ones. Omar and I used to do 2 Dope Boys pretty consistently, and have a lot of fun with that. Omar, I don't know what my favorite Two Dope Boys is.
When the
I'm
Flash got his ass beat. Oh,
Oh yeah, when Flash got destroyed by reverse. Was it Reverse Flash or was it by
Zoom.
Doesn't
Zoom?
matter.
It was
It
Zoom.
was
matter anymore.
Zoom. Oh my god! Because that episode, the whole reason we made that, we wrote that was because I don't think we've ever seen a superhero get
No.
destroyed in live action like that
To this
before.
day. I'm like, this is y'all put this.
Omar said that man got punched in the back and formed the letter C, and I was like, "This is done. This is done."
Was it the David Aja? Was it the Matt Fraction? Was that the first one, the Matt Fraction one that made us start it?
Yeah, Two Dope Boys maybe.
The book. It was issue number 3. I remember. Yeah, the car chase one. Year
Well,
3 or
yeah,
5.
no, that was like a regular review. The one we did Two Dope Boys on, I think we did on the last issue.
The last. Okay, that was the last issue. Then the raid, Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, yes.
That's what it was. That was
Moon
issue
Knight number 5. Moon Knight
Issue
number
number
5.
5. Issue number changed our life.
It's crazy we remember those. Like Hawkeye number 3 and Moon Knight number 5. It probably, what was it? New Avengers number 22?
Oh, Incursions.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, just some of those stick in their crawl. But like, yeah, Carrie, you mentioned the Attack on Titan one when Aaron fought Reiner. And Ryan hit Aaron and he went spinning like a Nerf football. No, that was amazing. But like that's one of the favorites. One of my favorites that Omar and I did specifically was the X-Men.
Oh,
And that ended up in the book, didn't it?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah, because I remember the editor being like, what does it mean that he put a bandana on the steering column of a jet?
Don't worry about it.
What does that mean?
Just put it in.
Just leave it.
The streets
Just leave
understand.
it.
The streets understand. Don't worry
Just
about it.
leave it.
Just keep it in. Keep it in.
There's a quick side note because it's not a site thing; it's a book thing. But I don't know, Omar. Did we ever tell people about our conversations with legal before it came out?
I've been telling people on TikTok. Yes, I was telling people here. No, I have not. So let's get into it. Yeah.
I mean, just the one that I remember specifically, they were like, "So you can't really say this about Liam Neeson." I'm like, "Look, that dude said he went out there looking for black people to murder." She's like, "Well," I'm like,
Well, no, it's
no, that was funny because we did have moments like that, but I think what surprised me the most is that so many things kind of rolled off her back. She was
Yep.
like, oh, "Yeah, okay," like the lingo and everything. Like she read through the whole book.
Yep. She's like, when you say this about, I think I doing allegedly where Shine got 10 years for what did it, and this is way before.
Yeah.
And Will's like, we all know what happened.
We all know what happened. We all know what happened.
And then my favorite part of that story, because Will goes, it'd be really, I think it was before the call. No, it was like 2 in. He goes, it'd be really funny. These are all just me. And then she goes, actually, yeah, these are all just me. And I'm thinking, I'm like the wild one. I'm like, oh, yeah, Will, Jesus, Will.
No, it was all my stuff. It was all my stuff. It reminds me of that Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode when your boy's the cannibal, and he's like, I thought you were in here. You were innocent. And he's like, oh no, I did all my stuff and more. that was like me on that legal call. It was like Omar was thinking it's gonna be all his stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, actually this is all Will. I was like, I think Omar had one thing, and it was like a misunderstanding. It's like, oh yeah, we can reword that.
Yeah.
All my stuff was like, yeah, you have to take that out. Actually,
you gotta take it out.
we actually can't publish that because we'll get sued. I was like, yo, man. And I wanted to, like most of it was like, okay, like, okay, fine. The Liam Neeson one, I was like, look.
Hey, we have video evidence. It was on E, damn it.
There's receipts. There's receipts.
Oh, man. But anyway, one of the last things I kind of wanted to talk about was thinking about the folks that have, obviously we talked a lot about our community and the spaces we find, but I really do want to give a lot of shout out to the folks that joined us on the journey in terms of like writing for us and producing content and being a stepping stone for a lot of folks to step into really successful, like, full-time careers in
Yes.
nerdom, right? And I want to be careful. I think we were part of their journey, not the reason for their journey or anything like that. But I do take pride in being a space where folks, like, just felt like they can get their stuff off.
Yeah.
Right? And we provided a playground for folks to kind of go in and do their thing. And I'm really, it makes me really happy to see those folks
Yes.
proliferate and do their thing. You know, I'm wondering what if y'all have thoughts on that, anything
Oh, yeah.
specific or otherwise.
I can rattle off a bunch. Jordan Calhoun. I remember when he got the email of he was like, "Hey," it was like 2014. He's like, "Hey, I've been trying to reach you guys to write something." I think that he wrote his first one was the Game of Thrones one.
There's a reason for that.
Oh yeah.
And we ain't gonna name names.
And
But I'll say this because Jordan, we have not talked about this in a long time. I don't even know if Jordan remembers this. Jordan knew someone that was already in our crew,
yeah,
and Jordan had been sending them things like, "Hey, really trying to get on. Like, can you send this to Omar or Will? Like, yada yada." And let's just say we didn't get the message. And then finally, Jordan hit us up like himself and being like, "Hey, I've been trying to like get a hold of y'all. Like, I sent some stuff,
Like-
and you know, and like even then we were kind of getting a decent amount of inquiries, kind of like, a lot of stuff like whatever. But then I read Jordan's thing. I was like, okay, this is like really dope.
this is
Like,
heat.
why did we not
happened?
get this? And the answer was pretty easy. Jealousy.
No.
And
No.
I was like,
True.
and it was like months.
My
It
God.
was like months. And if you know Jordan is a persistent cat.
Yeah,
So it wasn't
yeah.
it wasn't like they hit them up once. Like Jordan hit them up once, like, hey, you know Jordan was like, so I hit you up like a couple weeks ago, like what's
Yeah.
going on?
Just right.
And so the amount of times that person had to be like, yeah, whatever. It's astounding.
Tragic.
Because you know Jordan was not just like one email. and
One,
was done.
yeah.
So that's hilarious.
He put the
go
West
ahead.
Coast was his first one. His major. He had a bunch of ones that went. His first one, I think. I mean, I can't even do them in order, but I think his everybody knows it. The
Goofy movie.
Goofy movie.
Goofy movie.
25 years of the
Often imitated.
got a whole. The black Goofy movie was the blackest Disney movie. Basically, was his title. And so, often imitated. And then we saw a whole episode in Atlanta about it. And we're like, hey, Jordan, hey, whoa.
Yeah.
Definitely was read for research, and but then to see him writing for the site with us and whatnot, and joining on the live tweets. And then he gets to become the EIC of Life Hacker. Brittany, who you mentioned before, was like
Right.
writing for us, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna write novels now." Morgan Hampton, who's Morgan has my heart, man, because Morgan was in here writing comics and doing reviews and whatnot, and now he gets to go. He went to the Milestone Initiative, and then he's now a DC comic writer, and he's on Green Lantern, and he brought back a character I was waiting. It's been like, I wasn't even born for, but like nearly 36 years she was gone for, I think. Katmatui, and I'm like, yo, I've been waiting for this character for so long, and then to know the person that brought them back, I'm like,
Marcia,
that's.
this is for me.
Yeah, that's such
for
an insane circle. Khadijah, who was writing for us, and then she get to write for not write for I think she did something for Food Network, but then she was on freaking she's on late night late night.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Was Daily Show, or was it Larry Wilmore?
It went to Daily. I think it was
Daily. Yeah, because she got us ticket. We got to go and see it. We got to go and see it. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Yo, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's very dope. Very dope. And you know, I'm sorry we can't name everyone in the accomplishments, but I feel good about being part of folks' journey in terms of like the testing ground and like gaining the confidence, right? Because that's the other thing too, is that a lot of folks, whether they had writing experience before or they tried to write in some spaces that didn't really get accepted, right? And had not had success there. And so even if we were just like the conduit for which they gained the confidence to go through, or they refined their craft a little bit, or gave them some place to kind of tread water, kind of doing their thing while other opportunities kind of manifested in the background. It's a very cool thing. It's a very, very cool thing. Carrie, do you have something to add to that?
No.
I mean, it speaks for itself.
Do
So,
we want to end off with our favorite pieces from each other, or maybe like?
oh, we can. We can. I mean, I feel like it's chalk because I've talked about it on so many podcasts. My favorite piece from Carrie is "Lips Like Peggy Carter,"
Ooh,
and
why
which
do
which
that
which,
too?
which is to say like, Carrie, you've written a lot of really good pieces, and you've probably written pieces that maybe you feel better about, well, whatever, since then, right? Like, but man, it's gonna sound so hyperbolic, but I think it's true. When Carrie turned in that piece, and this is in the first year of BNP, right? So Peggy Carter had her own show. This is before they was putting on Disney Plus and all that. It was ABC, baby. It was ABC. Peggy was on prime time, okay, before the streaming stuff. But Carrie writes this article, "Lips Like Peggy Carter," which she was like this search to find the lipstick that Peggy was using in the show. And I remember reading that and editing it and thinking two things. One, because still at that time, while we had a lot of contributors, Omar and I were still producing, I don't know, 70% of the stuff that was coming out on the site at the time, right? And I remember thinking, this doesn't sound anything like what's on the site right now. Mm-hmm. Like, this could not be more foreign to what you would imagine is the typical voice right now on the site in this first year. And so there was that. And then two, I was like, we gonna make it, man.
What?
We gonna make
Oh my goodness, really?
I was like, this is so good, and this is so pointed and specific, and like has such care and has such detail, and is such an enjoyable read for someone who has never and still never ever shopped for a cosmetic before, right? So like, I am the person with the furthest like implied interest in this, and I was captivating reading through this, and I just remember thinking, yeah, we gonna make it, dog. Like, if we can do things like this on the site too, and complement to the braggadocious stuff that we're doing, or these reviews over the top, if we can have stuff like this on the site too, we gonna be all right. And like, I remember that moment very specifically editing that article. So that still to this day is one of my favorite pieces from Carrie. One of my favorite pieces from Omar, and then so I can get out of the way, I think I'm narrowing it down to two, but I think the one is his Blade 2 review.
Disrespectful.
Because to this day, editing an article, we have a lot of funny people on the site. We have a lot of funny people that write on the site. We've written a lot of funny things on the site. And I remember editing that and just having to stop and laugh. And like, I would get to a part and I'm like, no, I have to go watch that part now. Like, I have to go find this on YouTube. Like, I was so wrapped up in Omar's commentary and laughing so hard, it took me forever to and then on top of that, when we're writing the book, I said to Omar, I said, look, I know that is a visual article. I know it is very leaning dependent on GIFs and videos and things like that. I was like, Omar, I need you to try.
Find a way.
Find a way to put this in the book. It is too funny. It is too funny. It is some of your best work. You have to find a way to put this in the book.
Will was just like, hey, make it work, yo. I believe he was that.
So those are my two from YouTube. From YouTube. No, shut up.
Oh, I'm not the best at interviews. I always get nervous when doing interviews, but I got better with watching Carrie do interviews. I'm like, oh, she's very as good as this shit. Carrie knows how to. People, no, we might be. We founded this. Me and Will founded this we founded BNP. People love BNP because of Carrie. They
No.
love it because of Carrie.
No.
Anytime we go to we were going to conventions like, what was that? What was Marjorie's the book she was
Monsters.
doing?
Yo,
Image.
we used to be in New York, and it's like, oh, is Carrie coming? It's like,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
in Cali, fam.
Yes. Every time. Oh, is Carrie with you? No.
Like, yo, I got on a plane for 2 hours to be here. Okay,
going
like,
crazy.
God
am I not enough? Am I
Give
not
this to
enough
Carrie.
BNP for you?
Give this to Carrie when you see her. Mail this to her. But seeing how you did interviews and the people you did interviews with, like the ones you did with like Steph Williams and like people like big names and also names people that then became big names as well. But I do like so your interview style is what I took notes of. And there's one you don't show your face often, but when you do, it's always special. And you have one black woman nerd. You gotta say the whole thing, and it's you with like the fin jacket and then the lightsaber as well. And talking about like because Brittany did one later on, kind of sound like, yo, we were always black girl nerds. We were always here. So this was almost like your the first chapter of that was the one you wrote all those years back then, and like saying like, yeah, black women nerds, like we do exist. We've always been here. We've also enjoyed these things. Like why did you not notice us? Or like why did you not notice? It's like, well, maybe sexism is why. And it's noir. Maybe that's fucking why. So so that one's one that sticks out for me. Well, like known Will stuff for so long. That Game of Thrones one that I mentioned earlier was a big one for him. But like all the things that I like with Will are usually kind of, I guess maybe like the deep introspectional shit like that, man. Fucking the cosplay one. Damn it, the title
The
of it.
sobering reality of
Yes.
actual black nerd problems.
Yes.
When Will went to a convention, he saw
Yes.
some cool prop swords. He saw the Buster sword, and he said, "Nah, I can't go out with this because."
Capturing little moments like that, just as like the things we know or that don't get spoken out loud, but like being black and knowing this thing, like, oh well, this happened, so I can't do this. And I knew that shit was a banger because I'm like, this shit needs artwork, and we have not. Well, I guess we can do it now. Put the article back out with that custom artwork from Tovio Rogers as well, because like that shit,
It got updated.
that shit stayed with me. That shit's
It got updated.
it stayed with me. There it is.
It
Yeah.
got
Oh,
updated.
something. Yeah. Boom. No, we
Yeah.
already did it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and of course that that came on the heels of a police shooting of Darian Hunt,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, it was a lot.
Oh.
It was a lot.
One more, because it was for I think it was I don't think it was either Endgame or I think it was Endgame. Endgame dropped, and the trailer for it dropped, and I remember I think I was editing it because Will went to the bathroom at work. He went to the bathroom at work to watch the trailer, and he was talking about that in the trailer. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm in the bathroom stall reading this shit. I'm watching the episodes." That image always stayed in my head, and then you incorporated it into the trailer too. Like, hey, nah, I'll let you know how I get it. This is how I fucking get it right here on the clock. I got this shit in.
Oh man, yeah. Again, on the way. I mean, that my two. I gotta step away from my desk moments that I can think of specifically. So there was that one, and there was what was it? Zola, the Twitter thread about hoeing down in Florida.
Thread.
Yeah.
I had to take a break, man. Like when that went viral and I read like the first two, I was like, I can't do this at my desk. I have to get up and get away. And I read that whole thing laughing. It's man, like I remember that like it was yesterday.
Twitter was so special back then.
It was.
The way Joy
It was
used to find
possible.
us.
Yeah.
Joy. Please.
Carrie, what you got?
So for Will, one of mine was absolutely the sobering reality of actual black nerd problems. That went triple platinum on Tumblr, which means nothing now, but meant everything back in the day. And I just remember it being a piece that was just really people were reflecting on, and like white nerds and people were like, I never thought about that. Yeah, you don't walk in my skin. You don't look like me. You don't look like Will. That just really hit a lot of places around the web. Omar, some of my favorite pieces when you talked about like your siblings and your mom, right? I was just
Yo,
like,
the
yeah,
Dire Wolves joint.
the
I just
Dire
remember
Wolves.
that.
Yes, yes. But in more recent years, I guess like the pandemic years, you wrote the piece, "My create custom character always gonna be a black woman."
I just-
Felt very
yeah,
seen. Felt very
yeah.
seen. Because anytime I got to make a female character in a video game, I was like, can I make her black? Can I make her brown? Can I make her cocoa, mocha, coffee, latte, something that resembles me? Yes or no? Yeah, just and then like seeing you in like Red Redemption online, and you're just playing a black woman character. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, yes.
It was always funny. People like, oh, hey, what's going on? People like, hey, what's up? And they're expecting a woman's voice. I'm like, yo, what's going on? They're like, oh, whoa, what?
Who's this?
Yeah,
What?
give me
Yeah.
your money.
I remember we kind of talked about cover arts and stuff. I remember there was an article I did about black folks in fiction, and man, I wish I could remember it. But the cover art was a screen cap I took
know it.
from my Mass Effect gameplay, and I created a black woman.
Yes.
And I remember one of my white friends saw the article, and we had both played Mass Effect a ton and talked about it ad nauseum, and he was like, I had never thought about Shepard looking like that. And I said, well, what did you do? He's like, I just took the default character. And I was like, that is so
Okay.
white. Like real deal, right? Because you never have
was the
this
default.
picture to
Yeah.
project
You don't have to,
yourself onto a character. And he was like, yeah, just use the default character. And I was like, that is wild. I've never used a default character. Like, why would I? I spend as much time in the custom character creator as anything else.
People get annoyed at me and how much time I spend in I spend hours in the custom game. Been out for 2 weeks. I don't care. I'm still here 5 months in.
No. So I think that's a beautiful wrap up. One thing I want to say at the end of this video, we are recording this at the end of May, going into June here. It's been a beautiful 12-year journey with Black Nerd Problems, and we are, I know it probably sounds like a wind up, like, oh yeah, now we're closing doors. We're doing the opposite. Black Nerd Problems is going to be ramping up in a new way. The site is still our focus, but the site's going to change. It's going to develop into something new, into something a little more robust as we kind of branch out with other media, bring newer people on. We're still going to be right there at the forefront doing a lot of the content and front facing, but we have a lot of talented people involved, and we are investing in the site in a way we have not been able to do before. And so more information coming on that soon. We can do it formally, but we're not winding down. We're ramping up. And it's going to be a pretty exciting time. And so we've been at it for 12 years, and we're hoping to jump into an iteration that does it even bigger for the years to come. So I want to say that, signing off. Carrie, Omar, love y'all. Man, it's been a journey, and I look forward to what we do moving forward, even though we're doing this anniversary in May, and it always reminds me that I missed our mark and not putting it in March so we could do the Ides of March, because I'm a literature nerd. But, we make our own way, right? We make our own way.
We different.
We different. But I appreciate y'all. So more news coming soon.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary to us, and we catch y'all on the next one.